Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to look at the DJI Action 2 and why I think this is an absolutely fantastic camera, but they should take the action out of the name. So with so many great features to it, headlining being 4K 120, we've got 1080p 240, weighs only 56 grams, we've got a huge 155 degree field of view, f2.8 constant aperture. I think it works out about a 12.7mm full frame equivalent, so it's absolutely massive. We've got 12 megapixel RAW and JPEGs. We've got 4 stabilisation modes. We've got rock steady, steady, horizon balancing and horizon steady. 32 gigabytes of inbuilt storage with 22.4 available. And if you purchased the front screen combo, you get 3 additional mics. So there are 2 versions available. You've got the power combo, or you've got this guy here, which is the dual screen combo. So with the front screen module, we have 3 additional microphones. You've got your USB-C port for charging and data transfer. Your micro SD card slot is on the back, and then also your speaker for video playback. Also note that if you're just playing back video on your main camera, you will not get any audio unless you attach your power or dual screen module, so just bear that in mind. And also in the box you get this additional mount, so it's obviously the magnet for the camera, but it is a, peel that off, it's a stick anywhere mount. Works great on glass. I would say be careful. I have used it on a painted surface, and to be honest, I thought it was going to rip all the paint off, so just be careful where you stick it. But that is not included in the power combo, which I think is a shame, because it's the best mount really, in my opinion. The other mount that comes is sort of the standard one that we see, like the GoPro style 2-prong action camera mount. I've literally just unwrapped that. I've not used it yet, I've just been using the others. And obviously you get your necklace where you can stick that camera straight onto there. We take that off there, let's take that off there, onto there. You can't get these wrong, by the way. The magnets, if you're trying to put it on the wrong way, it's resisting me, look. It will not allow it to stick, and all you get is something like that. So you cannot get it the wrong way around. So as soon as you flip it the right way, bang. And then the same goes on the pendant. Can't get it the wrong way, clipped up, and you're in POV style. And I've just dropped the front screen. Let me just see if that's okay. Yeah, looks good. So with the time-lapse and hyperlapse features, in the time-lapse you've got 3 presets which DJI have given you. So you've got crowds, clouds and sunset. I think that's a great feature, especially if you don't, or if you haven't used a time-lapse feature before, you don't know what intervals to set or time limit, etc. So just to get you going, they've given you some intervals, that's great. Hyperlapse, you can set it all the different speeds, really easy. Again, with the time-lapse, you can actually save the video as well as the photos. So say for example, if I want to do a time-lapse on my A6400, it will just give me the photos and I'll have to stitch it together myself in post. Not with this guy. It spits you out a fully finished article, which I absolutely think is fantastic. So you can upload it straight to social media, you can send it to your computer, you can edit it on your phone, whatever. Really, really simple, easy way to do time-lapse and hyperlapse. Definitely recommend it over using your main camera. We have the option and the ability to take stills at 12 megapixels, also JPEG and RAW. I'm not a massive fan of it. I think at a push, if I didn't have a camera with me, I'd almost be intended to use my phone. I think the touch screen on the back or even the screens to see the camera or what your photo you're taking, they're too small. You can't really see if you're low down like this and you're like, and it's really wide and it's not good. With the sensor only being, 1/170, it's not massive. You've only got 12 megapixels, so you can't really crop it or anything in post. The RAWs are not fantastic. I definitely recommend just shooting JPEG for a quick snap if you need it, or for social media. And don't even bother with the digital zoom up to 4 times. It is absolutely terrible. DJI should remove that in a firmware update. As soon as you start zooming in video or photo, the grain and the noise is unbelievable. Just don't use it. So just to give you an idea of what the images look like, I've taken a few snapshots of this. They're all JPEG, not RAW, nothing edited, straight out of the camera. Let me know what you think of them down in the comments. So with the camera we have 4 stabilisation modes. We've got rock steady, we've got steady, horizon balancing and horizon steady. So rock steady is just their original do it all stabilisation, which is the one I mainly use. So then we have steady, which was part of a recent firmware update where the field of view is actually narrower, but I think somehow it's less intensive, so it increases your battery. Then we have again a new one, horizon balancing, which gives us the 45-degree tilt. So the horizon's there. You can tilt the camera up to 45 degrees either way. The horizon will stay level. That is up to 4K 60, so it matches the GoPro Hero 10. And then we have the horizon balancing, which is the full hold it there, 360, your horizon's going round. But that is limited to 2.7K. So one thing that I haven't noticed being mentioned in reviews is the fact that you can use an external microphone with this, guys. So if you've got a digital microphone, so Rode Wireless Go 2, or like I'm using now, the Rode Video Mic Go 2, you can plug those directly via USB-C into the camera. They work perfectly. I've tested it, works great. If you've got any other microphones, so for me, I've got the Rode Wireless Go originally, you are going to need an adapter, just like this guy. So this is the Sarmonic SRC2003. I'll link it down in the description. It definitely works. I've tested it. I think it's about £10 on Amazon. So this is a USB-C to TRS cable. So just make sure that if you're going to purchase one of these and not this one I've mentioned, make sure it's a USB-C to TRS. A lot of them out there are USB to headphone jacks. So like a lot of phones these days, you don't get a headphone port. Those style will not work. But in my opinion, it's great. You know, the external audio is fantastic. If you do get the dual screen combo, you do get 3 additional mics on this guy to use compared to none on the power combo. But in all fairness, if you're going to be vlogging, etc., in my opinion, the dual screen's worth it to see yourself, but really you do need to add your own external audio as well, just to level up that whole production or experience or video. Production. Stupid word to use. So just one quick thing I did forget to mention. I've done 3 audio tests, one with just the camera module on its own, one with the camera and the touchscreen module, so we have the 3 additional mics making 4 in total, and also one with an external mic where I use the Rode Wireless Go. Let me know what you guys think of the audio, which one you think's best. For me personally, I think as we've moved along from the camera to the external audio, I think they've got better basically. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. So this is an audio test of the DJI Action 2 camera module on its own. Audio test 1, 2, 3. Audio test 1, 2, 3. So this is an audio test of the DJI Action 2 with the camera and the front screen module, touchscreen module. So we have an additional 3 microphones. How does the audio sound? Audio test 1, 2, 3. Audio test 1, 2, 3. So this is an audio test of the DJI Action 2 using an external microphone. I've got an adapter, and plugged in I've got my Rode Wireless Go. So audio test 1, 2, 3. Audio test 1, 2, 3. How does it sound? So let's talk about probably the elephant in the room, and that's the overheating. You know, when this camera was launched, it overheated. It got far too hot. I didn't own it originally. I've only owned it for a couple of weeks now. I know DJI have released different firmware updates. The latest release includes an update for a new case they've released. So if you purchase from DJI, Amazon, and there's another outlet, I can't remember, but basically through those outlets, if you purchase from those, you're able to claim this case for free. And basically what it does is the camera knows that you've added this case and it just increases the record time. So it's a bit like a heatsink. But I wanted to do my own testing, so I did some 4K 24, 4K 60 and 4K 120 tests, indoor and outdoor. So if we start with the indoor, I measured the house, it was 21 degrees. I had my Godox SL60W set at 53% and it was around 2 foot away. So if we start with the 4K 24, we got 21 minutes and 33 seconds before it overheated. At 4K 60, we got 6 minutes and 57 seconds. And at 4K 120, we got 4 minutes and 51 seconds. Now, outdoor, the weather was about 10 degrees. 4K 120, the camera basically ran until it finished the memory, which is about 25 minutes. So it stopped because of memory, not because of overheating at 4K 24. 4K 60, I got 16 minutes and 30, and 4K 120, 6 minutes and 59 seconds. Now, I'm going to flash up the chart which DJI says is basically the new times with this case added. And I think the biggest takeaway one is their 4K 120 with Rocksteady. I think they claim 25 degrees is, and they're saying 10 minutes. So if you take me 4K 120 at 21 degrees, I got 4 minutes 51. So personally, just take their findings with a pinch of salt, really. I don't think you'll get 10 minutes. Mine was at a lower temperature, yeah, I got less time. But of those times, you know, I think 4K 120 at 4 minutes 51, that's pretty acceptable to me. What you got to remember is when you're recording this, do you need 5 minutes almost of 4K 120? Probably not. You're literally using it for that super slow-mo jump, or for me maybe, I'll tell you what, I've got a bit of an example here, I'll put it up, of the coffee coming out of my machine, just the first drips at 4K 120, like super slow, super smooth. You don't need a super long time of 4K 120. So the Amazon reviews, etc., that I saw were slating this camera saying only got 2 minutes at 4K, 3 minutes at 4K, but they didn't say what frames per second they were in. If originally you only got 2 minutes at 4K 24, then yeah, it was a definite issue. I think 21 minutes and 33 seconds at 4K 24 indoors and outdoors, I didn't even get an overheat warning. I think that's more than acceptable. So if we come on to the size, you've obviously got 22.4 gigabytes internal memory, which at 4K 24 is roughly about 25 minutes. Also, a single battery is going to take you about the same, about 25 minutes. So in total, with your power combo or your front screen combo, for me, you get around 50 minutes recording. Now, at 4K 24, obviously the internal memory, you can't get that much recording. You can't get 50 minutes, it's just not possible. So you are going to need to obviously stick in an SD card. It's easy on the camera to switch from internal to external, if you like, recording. So you can record directly to the SD card if you want. The reason I haven't done that is because the transfer is not that quick. But in saying that, when you take from the camera so direct from the camera into your computer, I've found that to be slower than a micro SD card anyway. But obviously we can only do up to 22-ish gigs of footage, so it's not going to take too long really. So either way you're comfortable with, I don't think you're going to have too many issues. So like with anything, there are some drawbacks, there are some negatives. And I think first off, to call something an action camera, you need to really be able to replace that front lens cover. Now, obviously you can't replace that. You'd need to send it back to DJI. Maybe they've done it to push their refresh program, etc. If they've done that, then I don't like that. I've read online for people who put screen protectors and things on like that. I think if you have a heavy impact, they're not going to do a lot. And secondly, a lot of people have said they induce glare and things like that, so I wouldn't recommend using them. You know, I don't like the fact that there is no audio on the main camera body. I think with this main unit, they've been a bit too, with making it obviously all waterproof and everything like that. I think they've excluded too many things on it. I'd like to have seen an SD card on this unit. Also maybe a way of some sort of USB port on this as well. To do anything other than record, you are very much reliant on your other power module or your touchscreen module, which brings me on to another point. These are literally your other battery, and they're not cheap. You know, GoPro batteries are about 20 quid to buy another one. These, you can't do that. You want an additional battery, you've got to buy, well, you're not going to probably buy another touchscreen, you buy a power combo, which how much are they? I don't know, about 60 quid. I'll flash it on the screen how much they are, but they're expensive for what is an additional battery. And bearing in mind, they only get you about 25 minutes. Also, maybe quite controversial, but I do think the field of view or the focal length is too wide. You know, 12.7 millimeters is absolutely huge. I mean, you're trying to take photos, even if you have it in standard D-Warp, which is as narrow as you can get, it's still in many instances for me too wide. And then you can't get close enough to a subject because then it's too close and it distorts it because of how wide the lens is. So in some ways, you can't win. I mean, I understand that for action, you want everything, a huge field of view. You could probably knock it down to 16mm and it would be still perfect in my opinion. You know, I'd love to see a narrower field of view in future cameras. Brings me on to another point. This camera is expensive. £455 at full retail price for this is a lot of money. It's the most expensive action camera going. But in its defense, it's obviously the most premium as well. The most premium materials. It's a lovely metal build. It feels great, and you know, when I first got it open the box, it was a bit of a wow factor and a bit of surprise based on on the specs, just how small this thing is compared to what it can do. So in summary, who do I think this camera is for? What do I think its best uses are? For me, it's not an action camera. You know, the non-replaceable lens cover, the screen to screen at the back, if you like, no bezel for protection like you get the other action cameras. It's just not aimed at action in my opinion. There's too many limitations. The dual screen makes a great vlog camera. It makes a fantastic B-roll camera. You can add your own microphones. It's super small. You know, that is why I purchased it. It was for a B-roll camera, not for action, you know. And the 4K 120, you can get them super slow-mo shots that you want to get for your YouTube videos or for your Instagram. That is really, in my opinion, where this camera is aimed. If you're going to be doing action, I would honestly say have a look at one of the Insta360 or GoPro options. You know, they're built of a rugged plastic. They have a bit of a bezel for protection. They have removable, replaceable lens covers. You get none of that in this. This is a more premium build, no doubt about it. This is a more premium camera. This is like the Rolls Royce of the action camera in terms of like the build and the looks. It's fantastic. It's not going to be to everyone's taste, and I get that. You know, I am happy with the purchase. You know, I'm going to be using this as a B-roll camera. I'm going to be using it for POV camera shots. I'm going to do some POV street photography. That's going to sit perfectly there. That's going to be fantastic. I'm going to use the magnetic to stick it on rails so I can do like sort of third person as I'm walking past. That type of thing. It's like having another camera guy in your pocket, but you don't need a tripod or anything. You can just get it out, magnet it on, bang. I've just stuck it to my treadmill. You can't see that, but I've just stuck it to my treadmill like that. And then I could record myself running. Simple as that. I've just stuck it there. I don't need an additional tripod. You know, B-roll. Fantastic. So if you've got any questions, any comments, anything that I haven't covered, anything that you want to know, please drop it down below. I'll do my best to either answer it for you or to shoot a little video and show you. Please like the video if you found it informative or if you liked it. Check out some of my other stuff, really appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel. Plenty more coming. There's going to be plenty more stuff using this guy as B-roll, so hopefully it can improve my videos. And with that, guys, I'll catch you in the next one.